Hi, everyone. So this is my group protocol session video. Um, for my group, it's called Caring for You While Caring for Others by me, Himani Modi, an occupational therapy student. So to start out, the group description. So the aim of this group is to educate caregivers on the impact of caregiver burden on their mental health and to provide tools to manage their role along with their mental well-being. So this is a closed group involving 8 to 10 participants over the age of 21 who are caregivers of family members requiring long-term assistance. Meetings will take place at a lecture room in North Brunswick Township High School on Saturdays at 10 a.m. weekly for 6 weeks, and each session will be 1 hour long. So this group is meant for individuals over 21 years old who are long-term caregivers of a family member they're related to. Individuals must live in Middlesex County, New Jersey, and be caregivers for at least 6 months. This group excludes individuals with impaired cognitive or social abilities, since the activities requires those skills, and those under the age requirements. So these are the group sessions. There are 6 of them, one each week, and each session will be focusing on a different topic regarding caregiver burden. So for the group goals, the main focus will be on improving overall mental health through education and strategies learned through each session in order to reduce caregiver burnout. Specifically, the goals will be members will discuss the signs of caregiver burnout and impact on personal mental health. Members will identify 2 to 3 relaxation techniques in order to reduce stress. Members will demonstrate the ability to create a modified schedule using one relaxation strategy. Members will implement a modified schedule using strategies learned in order to improve overall mental health and reduce caregiver stress. And then lastly, members will discuss the impact of implementing a modified schedule on their mental well-being and stress levels. So to start, session 1 is called What's Caregiver Burden? The group leader will start it out by introducing themselves and the group title and explain what's going to be happening in the next 6 weeks. They'll start out with a 5-minute warm up where the leader will go around and have the members introduce their name, age, and share what caregiver burnout means to them. And the main purpose of this session is to help caregivers recognize when they're experiencing caregiver burnout so that they can understand when they're reaching a boiling point. The expectations of this group include members to actively participate during the session and be respectful to one another, and refrain from interrupting each other. So here are some of the things that will be needed during the activity. The presentation is attached there along with the worksheet. The activity will take about 25 to 30 minutes. Members will pay attention to a presentation given by the leader on caregiver burden. The presentation will take about 15 minutes and have a worksheet to follow along with so that members can retain the information. Afterwards, the group will go over the answers together. So here are the directions in more detail, and the supplies that will be needed in order to conduct this activity. There are some modifications listed so that you can accommodate whatever group you're doing this activity with. And then we'll be having a sharing and discussion portion. The sharing portion will be about 15 minutes where members will share one sign of caregiver burnout. They'll share why they decided to attend the group and share the benefit of learning about caregiver burnout. Additionally, the discussion will go over processing, generalizing, and application questions to kind of hit the goals that we're trying to hit in this group. So one of our goals is that members will discuss the signs of caregiver burnout and the impact on personal mental health. And this is where we're going to be going over that goal in order to discuss those areas. Then we'll be having a summary for 5 minutes where participants will recognize the impact of caregiver burnout and understand the importance. To terminate this session, the group leader will verbalize that it's the end of the first session and thank everyone for participating. And the group leader will remind everyone about the date and time of the next session and then conclude the meeting. In terms of group process, this first meeting was really just an introduction to the group, so that members can be introduced to one another and the group leader. They'll be given education on caregiver burden and stress, and this would be considered the forming stage, right in the beginning. So in between the first session and the third session, there is a session 2 called Impact of Stress and Techniques to Help, where members will be going over all of the different strategies and techniques that can be used in order to reduce stress. And then they'll be choosing 3 specific ones that we'll be using in session 3. So session 3 is called Caring for You Workshop. Again, as the introduction, the group leader will introduce themselves and the group title and explain that this is the third session of 6. There will be a warm-up for about 5 minutes where the leader will go around the group and have members introduce their name, age, and share when was the last time they did something relaxing and what that was. So the main purpose of this session is to explore chosen stress relieving strategies in order to find something that can be implemented into their daily schedules to reduce caregiver burden. The expectations are the same as the other session, where members will be asked to actively participate and be respectful to one another during the duration of the meeting. I do have both videos attached here that will be necessary for the activity. It will take about 30 minutes, and members will take turns exploring the most popular relaxation strategies chosen by the members in the previous group session. Members will rotate between 3 relaxation techniques in groups of 2 to 3. Those techniques will include a self-care meditation, a self-care yoga exercise video, and a self-care journaling prompt. Each station will be given 8 minutes of instruction before switching to the next one. And then afterwards, members will be asked to reflect on the relaxation technique that they enjoyed the most and would like to integrate into their schedule for future sessions. So we're going to have these directions that go into a little bit more detail so you can follow along. And then also all of the supplies that are needed, along with some modifications as well, depending on the group that you're working with. And then afterward, we'll be going into our sharing and discussion portion. The sharing portion will be about 5 minutes, where members will share their responses to their journaling prompt. Members will share their experience with each relaxation technique, and then members will share the benefits of implementing these relaxation techniques. So for the discussion portion, members will be asked processing, generalizing, and application questions, focusing on how they felt during this session and what similarities they felt between the group and any difficulties that they had with the relaxation techniques, in addition to thinking about what relaxation strategy would be best to implement for them, and what benefits there are from learning to use these techniques. So this would be hitting one of the goals, which is members will identify 2 to 3 relaxation techniques in order to reduce stress. Members will be hitting this goal between session 2 and session 3. And then additionally, another goal is members will demonstrate the ability to create a modified schedule, which they will be using one of the relaxation strategies from here in order to modify their schedule in the next sessions coming forward. There will be a 5-minute summary where the group leader will summarize the important points of this group, emphasizing the benefits of incorporating relaxation techniques. The participants will recognize the benefit of using techniques to reduce stress and additionally reflect on which one to choose for later sessions. To terminate this session, the group leader will verbalize that is the end of the third session and thank everyone for participating. The group leader will remind everyone to think about what relaxation technique they would like to focus on for next session. And the leader will remind the members about the date and time of the next session and conclude the meeting. In terms of group process, this group requires members to interact with one another due to being in groups, and would be considered the norming or storming stage within this group. Now, in between session 3 and 6, there are 2 more sessions that have occurred. One of them is called Benefits of Planning Your Time, and the other one is Caring for You While Caring for Others Scheduling. The main focus during these sessions was to give members ways to prioritize their time and plan out their time that they're spending with their loved ones that they're helping, um, and also create a schedule in order to manage their time more effectively. So after those sessions, there will be session 6, which is called Putting It All Together. Again, the group leader will introduce themselves and the group title and explain that this is the last session out of the total of 6. The warm-up will be 5 minutes, and the leader will go around the group and have members introduce their name, age, and share a pro and con that they experienced from using their schedule over the past week. So the main purpose of this session is to discuss the impact of implementing their new schedule and conclude the group. Group members will talk about the changes of including time for personal mental health and well-being and make any changes to improve their schedule. Members will go over the main concepts of the entire group and take their peer-reviewed schedules home to implement. So the same expectations are within this session as the others. And here are some of the, the handouts that we'll be using. There's the weekly planner that we used in the previous session that I left there, so you know what that looks like. And also some flashcards that I'll explain what we'll be doing with. So the activity will be 30 minutes long. Members will break up into groups of 2 with discussion flashcards to go over together relating to implementing their new schedules over the past week. The leader will go around the lecture room to provide any assistance or answer any questions related to the flashcards given, and members will be given time to make any adjustments to their weekly schedules based on the recommendations given by their peers. So here are the directions in further detail and the supplies that are required. There are some modifications that are listed there for you in case you're working with a group that has more needs or less needs. And then preceding that will be the sharing and discussion portion. So in the sharing portion, group members will share the experience of the activity. They will reflect on their schedules and the impact of implementing relaxation strategies regularly. And group members will share one improvement that they can make to make it easier to continue using the strategy in their schedule. The discussion portion will take about 15 minutes and go over processing, generalizing, and application questions. And then the summary will be 5 minutes. This is where we'll be hitting some of our goals, where members will implement the modified schedule and talk about the overall improvement in their mental health and caregiver stress. And of course, members will also be discussing the impact of implementing their modified schedule in this portion of the group. So the summary will be the group leader summarizing the main points of the session and the overall objective of this group. And participants will have areas of improvement to make their schedules even better. So the overall termination of the group leader will verbalize that it's the end of this group and thank everyone for participating. The leader will remind members to continue using these skills learned in this group, and the group leader will re-emphasize the key points and answer any last questions regarding caregiver burden before concluding the group. The group process for this session focuses on group members working together using the skills learned from all of these sessions. And this is considered the performing stage, mainly because members are required to apply the knowledge that they acquired. And then last but not least, there are my references at the bottom. But yeah, this is my group. Thank you so much for listening.